Hello and welcome to yet another episode where I am gonna be updating you about how my 15,000 US dollar trading challenge is going, and also broadly like how I basically trade. But the first thing that I'm going to share with you is that this video is meant for educational purposes. It should not be taken as trading or investment advice. Trading comes with elevated risks, particularly if you don't understand what you are doing. Now, last week, I gave an update that my account that I am sharing with you as a challenge. I want to see, number one, if I'm able to beat the S&P 500, and also how much I will be able to grow that account by the end of the year, hopefully. And if I am able to do that, make some return, then that would be fantastic. But I must say that it has been a journey, and as a background, I think it is very, very important to share with you that I spend quite a lot of time actually, on average, I would say it's like my full-time work, right? Because I am mostly researching stocks, monitoring what's going on in the market, and particularly planning and preparing for trades in the future. So it requires some dedication on the time, but also backtesting the data, understanding what's going on globally and in the US, because I mostly trade in the US, even though I'm based in Canada. And sometimes you may be just in a position and then President Trump says something, and I'm usually watching Bloomberg TV or Yahoo Finance, and I see that President Trump is talking, or there's data, economic data that is dropped, and the market is reacting. So that is very, very important. So in this case, I'm going to just distill the key things that I look at. But before I do that, let me just show you how my account, like performed this week, my trading account. And so that in the interest of transparency, and I promised you guys to just share with you if you have been following this journey. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing so that you don't miss any updates and you get notifications when I post some videos. You can see that last week my account, because of the trade that I took on PayPal, I actually closed the position for a 213 US dollar loss, and that had taken me down from 12% that I was the other time. And what that did was like it really resulted in at least my account going down. But this week I was able in this account to at least make back some of the money that I lost. But more importantly, I don't just trade on this account alone. So on my other accounts, I was able to make some money. And because I had not lost money, it was good, because what happens in trading is that you can be winning, and then do one stupid or silly mistake, and then it ruins everything. So that's the most important thing, because you can see here, my account was going up, and then it went down to this point, and then I was able to make back some money, but it hasn't come back to this level. But the most important thing for me is this is just 1 month worth of data points, right? So the most important thing is I have been able to grow my money, at least as you can see here. If I am to close, I've closed my positions, I am in cash right now. It means if I am to just cash out all the money here from this month, it means I will have made 2,460 dollars, $36 Canadian dollar. So that's profit. That's 11.26% profit in 1 month on capital that is like 15,000 US dollars and 300 Canadian. So at the end of the day, I'm profitable, right? And like I explained in the other video in the past, the whole point of trading is that losses are guaranteed. But the most important thing is if you are able to win more times than you lose. And clearly, if I'm able to grow my account in this case, as you can see here, it means that at least this strategy has been working. But the most important thing also is that I should be able to replicate this. If I'm able to do this consistently, let's say next month I make another 11%, I make another 11%. Now I will be compounding that account. It's a bigger account now, right? And it means by the end of the year, if I can maintain that momentum, the money will have been compounded quite, quite nicely. So that's really the goal. But unfortunately, it's extremely difficult to know how the year is going to end in terms of this account because there are a lot of factors. Now, a lot of people I talk to, I have a group on WhatsApp, and we share what's really going on in the market. And just to be clear, I'm not an investment advisor. What I'm doing, I'm just trading my money here, and I don't provide investment advice, but I have a passion in teaching. And in this case, I'm just sharing my experience. If I make money, if I lose money. But there are two important things here. Investing and trading are different. For my long-term portfolio, I don't even worry about what goes on in the short term because I do my research, I understand the things that I invest in. So I'm looking at 10, 15, 20 years. So even though on the short term, there might be upswings and downswings, my expectation is that over time it's going to go up, right? And if I am able to actually grow the account, right, over the long term. And over the long term now, if I'm able to buy and hold for the long term, then that's good. And there are a lot of strategies. But in this case, the most important thing, like for my trading, I'm just day trading, getting in and getting out. And sometimes I do swing trading. That means I get in and I get out maybe the next day or after a day. And at the end of the day, my goal is to make profit. Now, I've explained that the most important thing that I've realized is that it is important to have an emergency fund. Because if, let's say, for example, I don't have to worry about money in the short term, that means if I see some opportunities like the market is dropping and I can just buy and hold maybe for a week or 2, 3 weeks, right, without the pressure to liquidate even when the security or I am losing money at that particular time. So that is very, very important. Now, it's important also to do some research because what I've seen is that there are a lot of stocks, or even some people, they trade bonds, some people trade Forex. But it's very important to pay particular attention to things that you understand. Like in this case, for me, I like to trade NVIDIA stocks, and I've explained that I do so through leveraged ETFs. But also, I like to trade the volatility index through the exchange traded funds. So what then happens is when the equity market drops, the VIX usually it goes up. For example, the VIX today, it went up by 16.28%, but the S&P 500, it was down by 1.7%. So what this means is that it's not always that it goes in opposite, but sometimes there are levels where the S&P 500, the equities market largely in the US is going up and the VIX is just not moving. But then as long as there's the fear, people start to panic, they start to sell, then the volatility gets elevated because sometimes people are selling, and some people may be buying, but if sellers are in control, in that particular stock or security, then the market are likely to be pushed down in that case. And this could be for various reasons. Like today, there was economic data, the manufacturing sector in the US, it expanded. There was the data that was dropped, and I saw the data on investing.com, but also the service sector actually contracted compared to the previous reading or the data that was released. But also the new home sales, also the number of new home sales, it also dropped versus the expected number because there are analysts who focused. And now if there is a difference between what the analysts or experts forecast, then investors or stakeholders in the market then have to kind of like reprice and to adjust, because what happens is basically to make money, it's about pricing in, like being able to anticipate the future, right? Correctly. To say, if let's say currently, like today, The S&P 500 is down 1.71%. And if based on the information that I have, I believe that it's going to go up maybe by 10% in the next 3 months, as an example. And if I am right in that particular case, depending on what I am looking at, which is extremely difficult because there are quite a lot of variables. It could be the Fed can say something, the US government, or even another global or other unrelated issue or unknowable thing, let's say the COVID epidemic, or also in August in 2024, there was the yen carry situation because investors mostly in the US were borrowing money in Japan, which had lower interest rates, and then investing in the US securities. So now when the Bank of Japan officials indicated that they were considering increasing interest rates, right? Those people, they had to liquidate their positions in the US so that they could pay back or at least return the money. And once there is fear and a lot of people participate in that particular situation, in that case, that's when the equities market or that particular security, you can see that the price can really move in a particular direction very quickly. I remember I was actually with my family on a family vacation in Washington, D.C., and I saw the VIX spiking, the equities market dropping. It's good. Corrections are good, right? Now, I was just explaining that background because I think it is very, very important. If you want to trade profitably, what I have observed is that it is very important to understand what's happening in the macroeconomics. Uh, you know, uh, Basically, I'm looking at things like GDP, things like unemployment, and also economic data that is likely to cause some volatility. And I just gave you an example. So every week, just explain this. But at the end of the day, my goal is to just share some educational material on my experiences, what I'm learning. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please make sure you subscribe to this channel and share so that at least this video can go viral. I hope to connect with you guys on the next video, but if you have any questions, please feel free to share your thoughts. How are you trading? What are you seeing as the potential risks in the markets? And also, like we always do, mostly on Fridays, Coach Blooming and I will share some insights of what's really going on in the market. So be sure to also watch the videos on what's going on in the market. And the good thing is that we are usually sharing what's actually happening in the market in real time. So it's free educational material. So thank you so much for tuning in to this video, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye for now.